Now, before the weather forecast from the team at the Jersey Met Department, this time every year, there's usually a bit of anticipation, isn't there, as the big stores start to air their Christmas telly adverts. This year, with many people deciding to embrace the festive spirit early because of lockdown, well, it's no different. I'm sure you'll have seen wreaths and Christmas trees up already around the island. Except, of course, retail is having a bit of a tough time, isn't it? So, perhaps we have to think differently about it. Maybe people don't have the cash this year. Maybe you've already realised that you're not going to be able to meet up with those that you really normally spend your time with at Christmas. So how much hinges on getting your festive telly offering right? Retail expert Kate Hardcastle can tell us more. Kate, a really challenging year overall, but how do you make an advert that kind of feels right, sort of selling what the store is about, but not kind of going over the top when it comes to consumerism, because people are harder cash this year?
Hi, good morning. Yes, when we had to start talking about what these adverts would look like this year, it was quite unusual because we know normally they start to be created around the summertime, but a lot of retailers put that decision making off and that creativity off because they knew this was going to be a very exceptional Christmas and one where they had to get communications just right. The last thing you want to see is, this lovely scene of merriment, lots of people having a party in your kitchen when there's a distancing restriction in place, and that's the last thing that can happen. So I think that the businesses have had to turn to the very human qualities that were shown by us all, particularly in that first period of lockdown, the coming together, the neighbourhood, the kindness. And actually, that's quite the case. We've seen earlier this week from Disney and also McDonald's a very similar tale of animation about generations coming back together, reuniting with the children, creating connect after the disconnect. And obviously, the John Lewis one launched just this morning.
Describe that one for us, because there's always a lot of build up to that. I mean, it's kind of gone over my head this year because we've just got so much going on.
Exactly. There is much anticipation from some camps, but actually other people have got, as you said, quite a lot on themselves. We're in the midst in England in a second lockdown, many restrictions elsewhere, planning for Christmas, understanding whether there's going to be job security. There's a lot to think about rather than just an advert, but it has been released. It's out online. It's going to be aired on TV tomorrow night for the first time. It's quite unusual. It tries to tick a lot of boxes. The whole theme is around kindness. It's supportive of charities, trying to help 100,000 families throughout the UK, and it's saying that means the advert is really going to leave a legacy. The soundtrack is absolutely beguiling. It's beautiful. It's by an artist called Celeste. And it's a specially written song rather than a recreation of a classic. And the song's about kindness. And the format of the advert basically shows different vignettes, different scenes of kindness being shown, including a quite quirky pigeon that turns up quite a lot. But the nice thing behind the creativity is that the creativity has been split via different industries, different artists. And obviously we know that the creative industries have been really hit and hurt this year. So we have to hope that by splitting the advert format across different businesses, that could have just been a bit of a lifeline.
Kate, thank you ever so much for your insight there. She's a retail expert. That was Kate Hardcastle